History in Hiroshima. President Obama laying a wreath earlier this morning at the Hiroshima Peace Park during his historic visit to the Japanese site. It's been 71 years since the U.S. dropped the atomic bomb on the city, killing 140,000. 70,000 others were killed on Nagasaki. The president spoke at the ceremony saying this about pursuing a world without nuclear weapons.
We may not be able to eliminate man's capacity to do evil. So nations and the alliances that we formed must possess the means to defend ourselves. But among those nations like my own that hold nuclear stockpiles, we must have the courage to escape the logic of fear and pursue a world without them.
Is that possible? Joining me now, former CIA Director, but also advisor on both the strategic arms limitation and reduction talks, Ambassador James Woolsey. Great to have you on this very day, sir. What are your thoughts on that statement? Just at a time when tensions are rising, can you really start dreaming of a nuclear-free world?
You can always dream, but dreams are not policies, and hope is not a policy. It's just a warm, happy thought. That peace that we've had in Northeast Asia, with Japan now being a successful and prosperous and democratic country, and South Korea being the same, depends very heavily on American military power that has deterred China and North Korea now for many decades. And that doesn't happen without our having matched them or better and having nuclear weapons ourselves. So the hopes to get away from them is a nice hope. There are lots of hopes. World peace without conflict is a good hope, too.
Nobody's cutting back on weapons when you have North Korea testing all kinds of missiles and claimed, H-bombs. Iran is testing missiles as well. But now you've got Donald Trump, the candidate, suggesting that more countries should start to nuke up. And he even specifically said South Korea and Japan. Is that the answer?
Well, I suppose if more countries do add nuclear weapons, that a democracy stable like South Korea and Japan is not something I think we would be that worried about. We're much more worried about North Korea and Iran, which is, I'm afraid, coming a lot faster than the administration thinks into having nuclear weapons. And even countries like Pakistan, which are sort of democracies but kind of chaotic and have nuclear weapons, they're a serious problems. But Japan and South Korea, they're not going to make the world more dangerous if they should have nuclear forces roughly the size of, say, North Korea's.
Well, during this G7 meeting, the rest of the countries have agreed to send this strong message regarding the dispute in the South China Sea, where the Chinese have just decided to squatters' rights, and they're even building the islands upon which they want to squat. And they're building military complexes on these islands. Nobody's happy in Southeast Asia at this point. What happens here?
Well, this is a tough one because I think the Chinese are into the business of clearly protecting their access to trade, and especially oil and gas, and especially oil from the continent, and protecting the sea lines of communication. Now, why they think they have to do it so vigorously is beyond me. They're a strong country, and they could keep their sea lines clear if they want, but they're reaching into what is regarded under international law as international seas, and are trying to turn South China Sea into a Chinese lake, and we can't really go along with that.
It's good to see you, Ambassador. Thank you so much. Let us not dream, but make reality more peace in this world, that's for sure. Thank you. Happy Memorial Day.
Good to be with you. Same one.
And thank you for your service, sir, always. We want to take a moment to thank all of our sailors, soldiers, and Marines for their service on the eve of this Memorial Day weekend. Your dedication and commitment to our country is so appreciated by us all here at Countdown to the Closing Bell on Fox Business.